Welcome, Sigmas. Ever had someone underestimate you thinking they could play games and get away with it? Big mistake. What happens when people fumble a Sigma male? Do they realize they're lost too late, or do they ever truly recover from it? Sigmas don't chase, they replace. And when someone tries to fumble a Sigma, it's a lesson they'll never forget. In a world where everyone is so used to manipulating and controlling others, Sigmas operate differently. They don't play by society's rules, and that makes them a challenge to the average person. But what happens when people try to play games with a Sigma and end up fumbling? Stick around, because we're about to break it all down. The greatest victory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Confucius. For a Sigma, every fumble is a redirection to something greater. Now let's dive into what happens when people try to fumble you Sigmas. Point 1. They realize too late that you are one of a kind. When people try to manipulate, deceive, or take a Sigma male for granted, they often make a fatal miscalculation. They assume he'll tolerate it. But what they fail to realize is that Sigmas operate by a completely different set of rules. Unlike most, they don't seek external validation, they don't crave attention, and they certainly don't beg to be valued. If someone fumbles a Sigma, they don't get a second chance. The bridge is burned, and the Sigma has already moved on. This isn't arrogance. Its studies on human behavior suggest that high-value individuals like Sigmas have strong personal boundaries and refuse to engage in toxic dynamics. While others may chase and plead, Sigmas embody the principle of detachment. If someone treats them as an option, they won't argue. They'll simply remove themselves from the equation. Think about it. Ever notice how some people only realize the value of something after it's gone? A Sigma doesn't play that game. He knows his worth from the start, and if someone fails to appreciate it, that's their loss, not his. Many who have underestimated a Sigma male later find themselves filled with regret, watching from a distance as he continues to thrive unaffected by their absence. And here's the real kicker: Sigmas are irreplaceable. Their combination of independence, intelligence, and mystery makes them one of a kind. While others struggle to find someone who truly stands out, a Sigma effortlessly commands attention without even trying. That's why when people lose a Sigma, they don't just lose a person, they lose a presence, a force, a game changer. By the time they realize it, it's too late. Because a Sigma never waits around. He moves forward, leaving those who took him for granted in the past exactly where they belong. Point 2. The regret hits different. Losing a Sigma isn't just about losing a person, it's about losing a presence that is nearly impossible to replace. Why? Because Sigmas bring something rare to the table: an unshakable sense of self-deep wisdom and a level of independence that few can match. When someone has access to a Sigma, they often take it for granted. They assume that this composed, insightful, and self-sufficient individual will always be there. But the moment a Sigma decides to walk away, they do so with conviction, no second chances, no drawn-out goodbyes. By the time they physically leave, they've already emotionally detached, making it nearly impossible to pull them back. This is why regret lingers. People start to reminisce about the way a Sigma could offer advice without needing anything in return, how they remained calm in chaos, or how they challenged others to grow just by being themselves. Unlike most, Sigmas don't rely on validation or constant attention. Their presence alone carries weight, and once it's gone, the void is undeniable. Psychologically, this makes sense. Humans often don't appreciate something fully until it's gone, and studies on attachment theory suggest that people tend to regret losing individuals who provided emotional stability and intellectual depth. A Sigma is exactly that: a rock, an enigma, a force that operates on a different frequency. The biggest sting: a Sigma won't look back. They won't seek revenge, beg for an apology, or try to prove their worth. Their silence is the loudest response. And that's what haunts people the most, knowing they had something invaluable, but let it slip away. So when you lose a Sigma, you don't just lose a relationship. You lose an experience, one that leaves an imprint long after they're gone. Point 3. They try to get you back, but it's too late. When people realize they've lost a Sigma male, panic sets in. They'll reach out with that late night Hey stranger texts suddenly show interest in activities they once ignored or conveniently bump into them at familiar places. But here's the problem: Sigmas aren't easily fooled. Psychologically, people tend to revert to their established patterns of behavior. Research in behavioral psychology suggests that unless someone has undergone a significant internal transformation, they're likely to repeat past mistakes. Sigmas understand this. They don't cut people off out of bitterness. They do it because they respect themselves enough not to entertain those who took them for granted. Unlike others who get caught in endless cycles of toxic relationships, Sigmas move. Their time is precious, and they refuse to waste it on anyone who didn't see their value the first time. This unwavering mindset is what makes them different. While others dwell on what if, Sigmas focus on what's next. This principle isn't just about relationships. It applies to every aspect of their lives. In business, a Sigma won't keep investing in a failing venture hoping for different results. In friendships, they won't chase validation from those who never truly supported them. They cut ties, learn their lesson, and redirect their energy towards self-improvement. And by the time someone realizes they've lost a Sigma, it's already too late. The Sigma has moved on, leveled up, and evolved beyond their reach. That's the true power of the Sigma mindset: growth over regret, progress over stagnation. Point 4. Their life goes downhill without you. Ever noticed how people who take a Sigma for granted often find their lives spiraling afterward? That's no coincidence. Sigmas don't just exist in people's lives, they elevate them. Whether in relationships, friendships, or business, their presence creates stability, motivation, and vision. They bring deep conversations that spark new ideas, a sense of security that fosters growth, and an aura of confidence that inspires those around them. Take away that presence and cracks begin to show. People who once thrived under a Sigma's influence suddenly find themselves lacking direction. The motivation that once pushed them forward disappears, and the confidence they borrowed fades. That's when they start realizing the truth: Sigmas were never just an ordinary presence. They were a foundation. History is filled with visionaries who followed the Sigma path: Nikola Tesla, Bruce Lee, Steve Jobs. Their ability to think differently, detach when necessary, and forge new paths left lasting impacts. When they walked away from people or projects that didn't value them, the void was undeniable. A Sigma doesn't need to convince others of their worth. The results speak for themselves. Their absence is often the loudest proof of their impact. And by the time people recognize what they lost, it's far too late. Point 5. The power shift. You were the prize all along. People love to believe they hold the upper hand in relationships until they realize they were never in control to begin with. When a Sigma male walks away, the entire dynamic shifts. Suddenly, the one who once felt dominant is left questioning everything. Why? Because a Sigma isn't just another option, he's the prize. Unlike most Sigmas, don't chase, beg, or plead for attention. They bring value through their independence, mystery, and unwavering self-respect. Studies on human psychology show that people tend to desire what they can't easily have. It's called the scarcity principle. The less available something is, the more valuable it becomes. And that's exactly why a Sigma's absence is felt more than his presence. The moment a Sigma leaves, the realization sets in: his presence, it was powerful. He was the source of stability, intrigue, and depth. Now they feel the void. They wish they had treated him better. But a Sigma doesn't give second chances easily. This isn't arrogance. It's self-worth. Sigmas understand that time is their most valuable asset, and wasting it on someone who took them for granted is not an option. Once a Sigma decides to walk away, it's permanent. The lesson is simple: appreciate a Sigma while he's there. Because if you fumble, you don't get a redo. You sit with that loss. Point 6. You elevate while they stay stagnant. The final and most satisfying part. While others are stuck in regret, replaying their past mistakes, a Sigma is already 10 steps ahead, building a future. This is the defining difference between those who dwell and those who evolve. Sigmas don't waste time lamenting what was lost. They channel that energy into self-improvement, new opportunities, and a life that keeps getting better. Think about it. How many people do you know who are still clinging to old relationships, missed chances, and past failures? Meanwhile, a Sigma uses setbacks as fuel for transformation. Studies in psychology reveal that those who practice forward thinking and personal growth experience higher life satisfaction and success. This is what separates leaders from followers. Now imagine this. Someone who fumbled you is still in the same cycle, same habits, same conversations, same mindset. Meanwhile, you've upgraded. Your career is advancing, your skills are sharper, and your network is expanding. That's the power of the Sigma mindset. This isn't just theory. History proves it. Look at figures like Nikola Tesla and Steve Jobs, visionaries who faced setbacks yet refused to dwell on them. Instead, they redirected their energy toward innovation and excellence, leaving their doubters in the dust. The best revenge isn't anger, resentment, or trying to prove a point. It's undeniable success. While they sit in regret, wondering what could have been, you're too busy winning. That's what makes a Sigma unstoppable. Sigma's the message is clear. When people try to fumble you, they don't just lose you, they lose the experience, the growth, and the energy you brought into their life. Meanwhile, you keep rising, keep evolving, and keep proving that the best revenge is simply becoming the best version of yourself. So if you've ever been underestimated, taken for granted, or played with, just remember, the loss isn't yours, it's theirs. If you found this video valuable, make sure to like and subscribe to join this community of high-value individuals. We're all about growth, self-mastery, and living life on our own terms. Having said this,